Hey y'all, it's the Slav, and as promised, I am back to start off the 1200 turn a new market and walk through the beginning of the turn segment for the 1200 turn. So the first thing you do every turn is the initiative segment. The Confederates had the initiative on the previous turn, so they will get a +1 modifier to their roll. Also, each side gets to add the efficiency rating of its overall commander. In this case, Siegel has a 0 efficiency rating, so the Union will not be able to add anything. But Breckinridge down here does have an efficiency rating of 1. So that will be a 1 addition for the Confederates as well to give them a modifier of +2. Union modifier 0. We roll the dice, and the Confederates get a 5 modified to 7. Union gets a 4, so the Confederates will have the initiative. That means they will be able to hold back one of their AMs for the first activation this turn. And for them, I will select that will be Breckinridge. So Breckinridge is going to get the first activation. Now we go on to the command phase. Attaching artillery to brigades, I'm not going to apply because all the Confederate artillery traces directly to Breckinridge's division, and the Union horse artillery goes to their division, and their line artillery also goes back to the infantry division as well, so there's no attachments to worry about. Assign or remove march or reserve orders. Nobody is in reserve yet. I'm not going to put anybody in reserve, but march order does come into play. I am going to remove the march orders off the 34th Massachusetts because they are getting close enough to the battlefield that I do not want to take the chance that they are going to run into contact still under march orders, because all kinds of bad things can happen with that I will go into later. I will, however, keep the rest of Stahle's cavalry division, Tibbitt's brigade, in march order. Give them some, I think I'm going to take them out of march order as well. They're close enough, they move fast enough that I think I'm better off getting them into place. So the only unit that I will keep in march orders, and you can't see it right off the edge of the board there, is the 30th New York Artillery Battery. They're still far enough away. I want to use that increased pike movement to get them into the battle. So that is it for assigning or removing orders. Now we go to trace command and place out of command markers as appropriate. The Confederates, everybody's in command. We've got Breckinridge as corps commander, and he's kind of got a split personality here. You've got Breckinridge as corps commander and also Breckinridge as the division commander. These two counters will stay stacked with each other per the special roles as they're fulfilling both functions, but obviously the division leader is in command with the corps commander, and then the division leader is in command with Patton and Wharton, since they are only 2 hexes away, easily within the movement radius. The division leader movement radius of Breckinridge is 8, which is very good. And normally we only trace command to the individual units when they start their activations, but we can see here as well that all the Confederate units are in command of their brigades as brigadiers as well. They are all adjacent to each other and adjacent to their brigadiers. And the artillery here is easily within the 8 movement points of Breckinridge as division leader. Same here with the Monroe Battery. Now we're going to go trace the command of the Union, and this is where it's going to get a little trickier. Moore as division leader, temporary division leader, is on top of Moore's brigade leader. So he places him in command radius. Also, going all the way back to Siegel, you can see that Siegel does place Moore as a division leader in command. Siegel has a radius of 5, and we're down the pike here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. He just places Moore in command. So Moore is in command. Next, we will have to worry about tracing command of the cavalry. Siegel, again, going back 1, 2 movement points, places Stahle in command of the cavalry division. Stahle is adjacent to Tibbets, so he puts Tibbets' brigade in command, and Tibbets is in command of all of his brigade units. There are also some of Tibbets' units underneath Stahle's counter. The problem, however, will be when we come down here, Wincoup's brigade was already on the battlefield. They are clearly not in command. Wincoup is not in command. So we'll put an out of command marker next to him. What this means is he is going to activate one less time than the division is going to activate. So put the marker there to remind us of that. Also, Imboden is going to be coming on the battlefield up here in this corner. Actually, I did neglect to mention this. He does have to trace to Breckenridge, and he is clearly not going to do it here. Imboden, all he does in this battle is he is going to enter this turn with the Stanton Horse Artillery Battery and through this hex, and they cannot move across Smith's Creek because there's a special scenario rule that the weather was so rainy and the field was so muddy and the creek was so swollen that he cannot do that, go past that. There's an optional rule that I'm not playing with that allows the rest of Imboden's command to come on. Then you have much more of an impact. But here we are going to have Imboden out of command. Now, I did look at the rules because I thought I had read that all units and all leaders are in command on their turn of entry. All I found was that all officers are in command on the first turn of the game. This clearly is the second turn, so this would seem to indicate to me, and that's the way I'm going to play it, that Imboden will be out of command when he enters. So he is also going to get one less activation than the rest of Breckenridge's division. So we have traced out command here, placed the out of command markers where needed. Final step of the command phase, breastwork construction. We're not fooling around with any of that here. So now we are going to pick the efficiency markers. The efficiency pool for the Union in this game is determined to be a 1-1 marker, 2-2 markers, and a 3 marker. So these are all going to go in the cup, and we'll draw these for Siegel. Basically, as you can see, you can do the simple math. The Union has a 50% chance of pulling a 2 for efficiency, 25% chance of pulling either a lousy 1 or a really good 3. So we will put these markers in the cup and shake and draw them and see what Siegel's efficiency is going to be. And we draw a 2. So Siegel's efficiency is determined to be a 2. And now we will use this to determine how many AMs go in the cup. Siegel has an efficiency of 0. So he cannot increase the number of AMs that Moore is going to get. Moore also, as temporary division leader, has a 0. So he is not going to be able to increase his number of AMs. And Stale down here as the cavalry division commander has a 0 efficiency. So he is not going to be able to increase his AMs either. So we're going to put the Union AMs in the cup now. Because we drew a 2, that means that Sullivan's division will get to put 2 AMs in the cup. Stahle's cavalry division is going to get to put 2 AMs in the cup. We are not going to be putting artillery AMs in the cup because the artillery is directly connected to the divisions in this case. So they will just activate when their divisions activate. We will, however, put 3 March AMs into the cup because the Union does still have that 1 artillery battery that is under march orders. So those will go in the cup as well. Now for the Confederate side, there is no efficiency mechanic. In this scenario, the scenario rules state that every turn, Breckenridge receives 3 AMs, except for the first one, he only got 2, but here on out, he's going to get 3 AMs every turn, and Imboden is going to receive 2 AMs every turn. So I've already decided to hold out 1 Breckenridge AM for activation immediately because of the initiative. So that means I'm going to put 2 more Breckenridge AMs in the cup. And because Imboden receives 2 AMs per turn, going to put 2 Imboden AMs in the cup. Leave the artillery alone because the artillery is either going to activate with Imboden, his horse artillery battery, or down here with Breckenridge. And going to also leave the March AMs out of the cup because there are no Confederate units under march orders, and I chose not to add any under March orders at the beginning of this turn. So I have placed all AMs into the cup. I'm holding out Breckenridge's 1 AM to be the very first activation of the turn. And that'll be it for now. So when I see you all again later, we will start off with the movement and rally phase of that first Breckenridge activation and see what's going to be happening on the battlefield here. So talk to you all later. Bye.